esteemed learners. How are you doing today? I trust you are doing well. Welcome to Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. My name is Emmanuel Sheung, and I'll be teaching you history. Today, we'll be looking at Islamic Reformation of the 19th century in Nigeria, which is the Fulani Jihad of Usman and Fodio in 1804. The Islamic Revolution of the 19th century in Nigeria, which is the Fulani Jihad of Usman and Fodio in 1804. At the end of today's lesson, students will, 1, describe the term Islamic Reformation, Jihad. Also, students will discuss the life of Usman and Fodio. Students will examine the causes and the effects of the Jihad of 1804. Students will explain the reasons for the establishment. We'll look at the organization of the Sokoto Caliphate. Islamic Reformation refers to the movement with Islam aimed at reviving and reforming the faith, often with a return to its early principles as practiced during the time of the Prophet Muhammad. One significant Islamic revolution was led. A significant Islamic revolution in Nigeria was led by Usman and Fodio in the early 19th century, 1804 to be precise, in the present-day northern Nigeria. This movement is usually described as a religious one and also a political revolution that transformed the region to what it is today. Usman and Fodio's Jihad. Jihad means an holy war. And this was revolutionary as a movement. It was launched in 1804 against the Hausa rulers because it was the Hausa rulers at that time were alleged to be corrupt and to rule with a lot of un-Islamic practices. The life of Usman and Fodio. Usman and Fodio was born in 1754 in a village in Gobara Kingdom. He came from the Fulani ethnic group. His career, he was well known as an Islamic preacher and a reformer in the late 18th century. He was based in Gobara Kingdom, where he taught the people and advocated for the return of pure Islamic principles. He criticized the rulers of Hausa state, particularly the king of the Gobara Kingdom, where he resides, for his own Islamic practices. He condemned the lavish lifestyles, excessive taxation, and integration of pre-Islamic customs with Islam. In 1804, after years of tensions within the Hausa state, the king, the Sarkin of the kingdom, forced Usman and Fodio and his followers his followers, who are particularly or majorly Fulanis and Hausas, they were forced to go on exile. It is worthy to note that the Sarkin was pleased at the early preaching of Usman and Fodio because he was a renowned Islamic scholar. But when Usman and Fodio began to preach against some of the inefficiency, such as lavish lifestyles, corrupt practices, then the king could not take it anymore. So he forced Usman Fodio and his followers out of the kingdom. So after that, he proclaimed that their rule, in person of Usman Fodio, proclaimed a war against all the Hausa rulers and proclaimed their rule to be illegitimate, in line and accordance to the Islam religion. However, the followers of Usman Fodio began to increase day by day. By 1808, Usman Fodio has established the Sokoto Caliphate, one of the largest and most powerful Islamic states in Africa. After the establishment of Sokoto State, Sokoto Caliphate, Usman Fodio retired from active politics and he focused more on writings and religious teaching, leaving the administration of the Caliphate to his son and brother. And he passes away in 1817 at the age of 63. What are the causes of the 1804 Jihad? Number one is corruption of Islamic practices. Usman Fodio and some Islamic scholars, they observed that the rulers of the Hausa city-state are deviated from the true Islamic teachings and practices. 2. Enslavement of Muslims. The rulers of the Hausa state involved in slave trade. Some Muslims members were being enslaved because of this, and it was noted that enslavement of Muslims is not in line with Islamic practice. Also, heavy taxation. There were heavy taxation on peasants and traders. Because of this, Usman Fodio also argued and preached that excessive taxation is un-Islamic. Also called for Islamic unity. There was need to be united as one big family under Islam. Persecution of Usman Fodio and his followers. Also, when Usman Fodio was being forced out of the kingdom, it also led to the Jihad. These are the major factors that led to the 1804 Jihad. Effect. Jihad had effect on Nigeria. Number one, creation of centralized Islamic state, which was the what? The Sokoto Caliphate. Also, the spread and consolidation of Islam. Islam as a religion spread across the Hausa state and it was well accepted. Also, the reduction of slavery and injustice. After the Jihad, there were significant reduction in slavery and injustice. Then there were reforms in the tax system, and there were also the creation of emirate system. Organization of the Sokoto Caliphate. The Sokoto Caliphate was highly organized with a clear system of governance based on Islamic practice and principles. Its structure allowed for both centralized control and local autonomy, creating a model that lasted for nearly a century. This is about 100 years. One, we have the Caliph, which is the head of the Caliphate, which is referred as the Caliph or the Sultan of Sokoto until today. The Sultan of Sokoto is known as the religious head of all Muslims in Nigeria. Emirate system. The Caliphate was divided into emirates, each governed by an emir appointed by the Sultan or Caliph. These emirs were often Fulani scholars or military rulers who had shown loyalty and commitment to the Sultan. They were Sharia courts. The Caliphate was governed by Sharia law, and the legal system was based on the principle of Islamic jurisprudence. Sharia courts were established in every of the emirates, and judges were appointed to be in charge of the settlement of disputes according to Islamic law. The military structure, the Sokoto Caliphate, maintained a well-organized army, which was critical in expanding and defending the Caliphate territory. We have the Islamic education. Islamic education was spread across the Caliphate and other neighboring regions. Practice question. This is what NECO question 2022. It says, discuss the success of the Sokoto Jihad of 1804. After the Jihad of 1804, we have the formation and creation of the Sokoto Caliphate, the centralized Islamic governance, eradication of all un-Islamic practices, reduction of oppression and corruption, the conquest of Hausa states. Not only Hausa states, it also moved across to some western states like Ilorin, Nupe was also being expanded, and some of the modern day Cameroon and Niger. Here is the end of today's class.
Eko Learners Support, a support program of the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for WAEC and NECO candidates.
If you have any comments, feedback, or suggestion, kindly reach us through the comment section of any of our social media handles displayed on the screen. Thank you for watching.